Hey guys, it's Brick Thunder, and today we're going to be unboxing, setting up, and doing a demo of the new for 2023 Home Depot Towering Ghost. Alright, so here it is. This thing has had some weird tracking over the last few days. It was supposed to come 2 days ago, then it was supposed to come yesterday, and then it looked like it wasn't going to come till August, but then it showed up today. So, not sure what was going on there, but I'm glad it came because this one is definitely one that I was anticipating. I'm very excited to see what this thing looks like. There's not, I don't think, any videos on it yet. I saw some Facebook posts, but not many people have it yet. It's definitely a weird chipper compared to the other ones. But it's awesome. It's a really, really cool prop and very unique for a ghost. The way it kind of spirals up is super, super cool. And it is 12 feet tall, so very tall one. Second tallest to the 15-foot Phantom, which I would say is also basically a ghost. But yeah, it's super cool. I've not looked inside the box. I've not seen it in person, so let's get to the unboxing. Here we go. All right, let's begin here. So, still have not looked inside, but I do have it cut open here. And it looks like we can't see too much just yet. Oh, okay, so I was saying it is kind of similar to the Phantom earlier, and it is very similar in build because instead of 2 poles, it only has 1, but everything else with this base is the exact same as the Phantom. It's the same shape, and it has the same ton of supports. 8, it looks like 8 different supports, unless some of those don't have any. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to put this to the side. All right, then we'll come back over here. I see some hands. Again, pretty similar to the Phantom, actually. These attach using plastic connections, just like the other 12-foots. But yeah, those look really good. A lot of his sculpt looks really good. I'm glad he's a full sculpt. I think that's really cool. The clothing won't get messed up in the wind, just like the Phantom did. His clothing got kind of all messed up after time. So here's the head. This thing's pretty cool. It is pretty flat, and I've noticed in a lot of the images, he is really flat from the side, so we'll see how that looks in person. But yeah, definitely doesn't look bad. It looks really creepy, and I'm sure at night glowing, that's going to look really cool. It's kind of a small head for a 12-foot, but his proportions seem kind of smaller than most. Next, we have the base piece for the Ghost. Now, this isn't actually structure of a base. This is just design. So what they did here is they put the control box in the back, but what they did is make this black piece that goes under it. So at night, the only part that's glowing is here. So it really looks like it's actually floating and that it comes off to a tiny little point at the end instead of this huge thing actually supporting the blow bolts. Next, we have some spiral pieces. These are just some pieces. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of these that just go up to the top of his body. And that's kind of his tornado type piece going up. And yeah, like I said, there's probably most of these pieces are probably just like that. Next, we have a slightly larger one here. I would not say this is the next one, but maybe the next one after the next after that. So we'll put this to the side. And these all do have wires going through them because his entire body glows. Here we have one of the arms, and this looks really cool, actually. I love the look of that. I'm glad they hid all the screws in the back. No visible screws from the front, it seems. Yeah, and then there's the plastic connection for where his hand goes. We got another arm right here, and these do have metal inside of them. It's not just the blow mold. There is a metal armature. Then we have a huge body piece here, and you can see this is kind of similar to how the Mummy works from Lowe's. They have LEDs lining this entire thing, so they just go down the entire body. So his whole thing glows. None of that's part of the plastic, although the plastic still may have some stuff. Yeah, it's still got some stuff going through it because there is already metal in that plastic. So also got to wire those up. We have a bag here with some coverings, just like Predator of the Night and the Wolf had. It's got some printed instructions, full color. Then it has this weird piece. This is likely for tethers. This thing definitely has tethers and probably want to use that seeing as it is only 1 pole. Here we have another piece for the body going up, and this looks like that next piece I was talking about. Definitely looks a bit bigger than that first piece we took out, but not big enough to go to the body yet. And then speaking of the body, here is his whole torso piece. And that looks like you're looking at the back, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's the front of it. Looks really cool, very nicely detailed. So that looks like that's all of our parts. So really not too much, especially for a 12-footer. Should be a pretty quick setup. All right, let's go to the setup. All right, let's begin here. So first thing we want to do is take this huge light up pole and attach it down here. Now let's make sure this is oriented correct. You can tell because there's 2 screw holes actually, no snap blocks down here. So we're going to position this and then slide it down like that. And now we can take 2 of our screws, and then there's actually 4 more. So it looks like we'll be needing those as well. They could be extras, but I'm sure they're not. 4 extras would be a lot. But yeah, first 2 just go down here, so make sure that's oriented correct, and then we can screw these in. All right, there we go. So that is super, super strong now. So that is looking good. Let's take our first plastic piece and slide this down. So this is just gonna go over the top like this, and then sit at the bottom there. In the control box, making sure that is facing backwards. So the front, all you see is this awesome design. And I will get this sticker off and get this off camera. Sometimes those are a bit difficult. Okay, so next we want our piece labeled D right here. Then I'm going to move the camera up, but we're going to slide this down right here. And the 2 plastic pieces are just going to come together like that, actually. They already fit together. So yeah, looking good so far. Let's move the camera up and we'll continue. All right, next we have E. E is going to snap lock in and then screw in. It's going to do both here. So there's the snap lock. Let's grab a screw, and then we can screw it into the back, making sure that's positioned right, although there really is only one way this can go because of the snap lock. So now let's screw this in. All right, so next we have F. F is going to be the last piece I do without a ladder here. So this is just going to slide down right here. And right now would be a good time to connect these wires. As you can see, we have 4 wires right here. There's one that's 3 prongs, and I just connected that there. And then you want to just screw these shut so that this is a watertight connection. And then there's one with 4 prongs right here. All right, there we go. And then we can just make sure the plastic matches up right there, so it's all looking really good. All right, I'm going to grab the ladder now and move the camera up a bit more so we can continue up to those torso type pieces. All right, so now we have G. G is going to snap down here, again, doing the same exact thing as last time. So we have a snap lock at first, and then we can line up the plastic a bit. We have some wires to connect here. Again, it's another 3 prong and a 4 prong. There we go. And then let's grab a screw because there's also a screw connection there. All right, so now we have our last body piece, and this is the torso here. So this is just going to snap lock down right here and then do the exact same thing, making sure these wires are out and exposed so we can attach those too. But then I'm going to attach those wires and screw those in. All right, torso is now attached. Let's get this arm on. So this is just a snap lock right there. All right, connected now with the snap lock. I also connected the 2 wires. Let's flip around and do the same to the other side. All right, this arm is now on too. Let's get on the head. All right, I have the head snapped there. So now what we can do is screw that in, and that is our last screw. All right, so we're back in the original position. Head and arms are on. Let's get these hands on. So again, another wire here going to both hands. Literally every single part of this guy lights up. So we're going to screw that together so it's watertight. We're going to push it back into the plastic piece, and then we can do what all the 12-footers have, where you kind of just line this up, push it in, and then twist it in place until it snaps like that. All right, now we're over here on the other side. Let's get this wire in right there, screw that together. We're going to push this back as well, and then do the same thing here. We're going to line it up and then push this in. There we go, and now we can twist to lock in place right there. Now, technically, that does not complete our setup. It is in the front, but in the back, we have some of those cap pieces to put on. All right, so for the caps, just take the cap, slide one side in, click the other side down. There we go. And then to remove it, there's this little lip right here to pull it off. But these allow it so even from the back, he looks pretty good. Now do the same to all those. All right, so here he is fully set up. So I do have him on a certain light mode. I can't really tell what it's doing. I think it's kind of just flowing up him right now, but I've tested out several and they're all very different. So we'll see what those look like at night. But yeah, you can't really tell what it's gonna look like right now. So let's see it at night. All right, so there he was, the 12-foot towering ghost from Home Depot. So this guy is really cool, but there are some flaws. When outside, you should have tethers on him for sure. And I'm sure that will help this problem. But when you go up to him, you can see he actually tilts both directions so much with a slight little tap. Now he is on one pole, so that's kind of expected. And I haven't heard any cracking or anything like that. And I don't think it would be easy to crack because there are so many screws and stuff that go into building this guy. But definitely use tethers outside because wind will make this thing snap for sure. At nighttime, this thing is amazing. The lighting options are really cool. I'm glad they give you multiple. I do wish the Phantom had that because that definitely helps a lot. It's not just one that you're stuck with, but I think it's like 3 or 4 that you can go through. And I really like that one that I started with in the video where it kind of goes up him, glowing up to the head as the last thing. I think that is really cool. So this guy is 350, which I think is pretty fair. The skeleton a few years ago was 300, so 350 now for something like this is pretty good because I would say he's worth about the same as the skelly because the amount of detail is amazing and the concept is really cool and that lighting is awesome. It's not exactly as big in parts as the skelly was because of those huge legs that he has and the giant rib cage, but overall, it is still huge. And I'm really surprised they actually shipped it in such a small box, which definitely helps with that price because shipping costs are not as high. One thing I also did want to mention is these seam lines between the two parts are very obvious on camera, but in person, especially at night, you really don't notice them at all. Definitely the cameras make them more obvious than they really are. All right, but yeah, there he was. I'm hoping to try him out with tethers outside soon so I can see how that affects his leaning. Because if that helps a lot, I would totally recommend this guy fully. He's really cool, and especially at night, this thing is very impressive. All right, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.